Okay, so this is create a more polished user experience. So this is Unit 2, Pathway 2 of Android Basics in Kotlin, and we're going to be creating a more polished experience using the TipTime app that we created. So I'll just jump right into it. Before you begin, as you've learned in earlier Code Labs, Material is a design system created for or by Google with guidelines, components, and tools that support the best practices of user interface design. In this code lab, you will update the tip calculator app from the previous code labs to have more polished user experience, as seen in the final screenshot below. You'll also test the app in some additional scenarios to ensure that the user experience is as smooth as possible. So I guess that's what we're going to make the app look like. You can add these icons. Prerequisites. Familiarity with the UI components that we used in the app, familiarity with the constraint layout that we used in the app, comfortable with modifying XML layouts, aware of the difference between bitmap images and vector drawables, can set theme attributes in a theme, able to turn on dark theme on a device, have previously modified the app's build.gradle. Yep, we have. What you'll learn, how to use material design components in your app, how to use material icons in your app by importing them from the Image Asset Studio, how to create and apply new styles, and how to set theme attributes. Sorry, just woke up. Theme attributes aside from color. A polished tip calculator app that follows recommended user interface best practices. What you'll need, a computer with the latest stable version of Android, code for TipTime. Yep, have those things. Starter. Through your prior code lab, you built the TipTime app, which is a tip calculator app with options to customize the tip. Your app user interface currently looks like the screenshot below. The functionality works, but it looks more like a prototype. The fields aren't quite lined up visually. There's definitely room for improvement in terms of consistently styling and spacing, as well as the use of material design components. Material components are commonly used user interface widgets that make it easier to implement material styling in your app. Documentation provides information for how to use and customize material design components. There are general material design guidelines for each component and Android platform specific guidance for components that are available on Android. The label diagram gives you enough information to recreate a component. It happens not to exist on your chosen platform. Okay. I've seen the floating action buttons a lot in apps lately, and the icon buttons as well, and the segment buttons. It's cool. All right. By using material components, your app will operate in a more consistent way alongside other apps on the user's device. That way, the user interface patterns learned in one app can be carried over to the next one. Hence, users will be able to learn how to use the app much faster. It is recommended to use the material components whenever possible, as opposed to the non-material widgets. They are also more flexible and customizable, as you will learn in this next task. The material design components, MDC, library needs to be included as a dependency in your project. This line should already be present in your project by default. In your apps build.gradle, make sure that the dependency is included in the lasers version of the library. For more details, get started here. So com Google material.material. Let's see if it's in there. So if we go to our app, go to our Gradle, go to our dependencies. Yeah, it's already there. I got version 1.6.1. All right. New version of Android Core 1.7. I don't know. Should I change it? Why not? Okay. All right. Text field in your tip calculator app at the top of the layout. You currently have edit text field for the cost of service. This edit text field works, but doesn't follow the most recent design guidelines on how text fields should look and behave. For any new component that you want to use, start by learning about it on the material site. From the guide on text fields, there are two types of text fields: filled text field and input text field. Outline text field. Nice. Filled text field and outline text field. To create a text field as shown above, use a text input layout with an enclosed text input edit text from the material design library. Display the text or label that's always visible. Display an icon with text field. Display help or error messages. In the first task of this code lab, you'll be replacing the cost of service edit text with the material design text field, which is composed of a text input layout and an edit text. With tip time, open your Android Studio, go to Activity Main XML, and it should contain a constraint layout with tip calculator. To see an example of the XML, what the XML looks like for material, first go back to the Android guidance to text fields. All right, so the guidance says using text fields before you can use material text fields, you need to do that dependency. We did that. All right. So we've got an outer layer, google.android.material.textfield.text input layout. So we have to make a text input layout, and then we got to put our edit text inside the text input layout. And that is just for this one. So we got to do that for every input. All right. We put the hints and everything in the layout. And the edit text, just match parent wrap content. Okay. So let's go switch our edit text to these things. So we've got main resources layout. Okay, so here's our layout. Um, Edit text. So we just have one edit text field. So this is the one that we're going to be changing. All right, so input layout. Oh, we didn't put a starting tag. Okay, text input layout. So we need one of those. And we need put 160 dp and wrap content for the other one. So that's what we'll do for this one. I don't know why I went there. Do 160 dp. We'll do wrap content. And then close the tag. And then we'll make a text. Oh, wait. Star tag, text, input. All right, text input, edit text. So that's the one we want now. 160. Okay. 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 And then this stuff should go in the layout, I think. Okay. And then input type, hint should go in the layout. Margin should go in the layout. Okay. And then text or content. The input type should go. I want to say should go in the text field. Okay. The ID should go in the edit text. Okay. Just delete this old edit text. And close the tag of the new text input edit text. Let's see. Oh. Uh, so that stuff should come to the bottom of. Okay. Edit text. Cost of service. So maybe I gotta do the ID. And cut. Yeah, it has to be in the layout. Yeah. What's that? Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I can't put the ID back to where it was. Hold on. Because I feel like the ID should be on. But when I put the ID there, the stuff doesn't go down. I'm gonna keep it here because that's where the stuff is entered. I'm gonna make a different ID for this. Mm, Okay. The service question, I'm gonna have it constrain it to the bottom of. Switch there. That way, the code should still work too, because it takes the stuff from the edit text. Okay. Okay. All right. So I updated that edit text field to be the one that they want. Okay. See, it has the ID going in the text input layer, text input layout, instead of down here. Now that you have copied over the relevant information from the edit text, go ahead and delete the edit text, okay? In the design view of the layout, you should see a preview of the cost of service, and now it looks like this. Okay. You can't run your app yet because there's an error in your main activity KT file. The file in the calculate tip method, recall from the earlier code lab that view binding was enabled for your project. Manager creates properties in a binding object based on the resource ID name. The field we retrieved the cost of service from has changed in the XML layout, so the Kotlin code needs to be updated accordingly. You will now be retrieving the user input from the text input edit text element with the resource ID of cost of service edit text. All right, use binding.cost of service edit text to access the text stored within it. The rest of the calculate tip method should stay the same. Private function calculate tip, get the decimal value from the cost of service field. I think mine should still work because I left the ID right where it was on the edit text. I didn't switch it to the layout. No, 3 issues are found. Oh no, that was because of the Gradle. Okay. Allowing updating library or application file, which allows your APIs to be used, can be done separately from updating target, which opts the app in new routine behavior and mini SDK. Update the project to use a newer version of the compile SDK. How do I do that? Hmm. Let's see. Comes up, search for this. Hmm. I think it's because I messed with the Gradle file. I made that recommended change. Give me 1 second. Mm, yep, it's kind of messed with that. Yep, okay, so that works. Good. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. I guess to use the newer version of the Android Core implementation, when I set up the project at the beginning, I got to do API 33 instead of 32. All right, so that's fixed. So mine still works. I don't have to do what they recommend doing because I didn't move my ID into the place where they asked me to. Switches. In the material design guideline, there is also guidance on switches. A switch is a widget where you can toggle a setting on or off. Check the Android guidance for switches. Components, it's cool. Selection controls and switches. Selection controls allow the users to select options. Switches toggle the state of a single setting. Okay. Change from a switch to material, Android material, switch material, switch material. Okay, so basically we just gotta change it from a switch to switch material. Okay, and that should work just fine. Make sure it still compiles. Yep, still compiles, still works. All right. At this point, you've seen two examples of how your user interface can benefit from using out-of-the-box material design components and how that brings the apps closer in line with the material guidelines. Remember that you can always explore other material design components provided by Android. Other site. What's this site? Material design. Cool. Next. Next is icons. All right, icons are symbols that can help users understand user interface by visually communicating the intended function. They often take inspiration from objects in the physical world that the user is expected to have experienced. The icon design often reduces the level of detail to the minimum required to be familiar for a user. For example, a pencil to the physical world is used for writing, so the icon counterpart usually indicates creating or adding or editing an item. It's a cool icon. Sometimes icons are linked to obsolete physical world objects, as is the case with a floppy disk icon. This icon is the ubic u- ubiquitous indication of saving a file or a database record. However, while floppy disks are popularized in the 1970s, they ceased to be common after 2000, but its continual use today speaks to how strong visual can transcend through a lifetime of physical form. So we don't use these anymore, but we still understand what the logo means to save. Representing your icons in your apps. For icons in your app, instead of providing different versions of a bitmap image for different screen densities, the recommended practice is to use vector drawables. Vector drawables are represented as XML files that store instructions on how to create an image rather than saving the actual pixels to make up the image vector. Drawables can be scaled up or down without any loss in quality. Provided icons. Materials design provides a number of icons arranged in common categories that you need. Cool. These icons can also be used by one of the 5 themes: filled, outlined, rounded, two-tone, sharp. Cool. Adding icons. In this task, you'll add 3 vector drawable icons to the app. The icon next to the cost of service field, the icon next to the service question, and then the icon next to the roundup tip prompt. Below is a screenshot of the final version of the app. After adding the icons, you'll adjust the layout to accommodate the placement of these icons. Notice how the app fields and the calculate button get shifted over to the right with addition of the icons. Add vector drawable assets. You can create these icons as a vector drawable directly inside the Asset Studio. Okay, so add 3 resource images. Click the plus icon on the vector asset. So let's go to the vector asset image. So resource manager plus, we're going to do vector assets. Okay. Okay, so we are back to it. All right. So we're adding the vector assets. Let's see what it says. Okay. Click the plus icon for the asset type. Make sure the radio button labeled clip part is selected. Okay. Click the button next to clip part. Okay. Select different clip art entries. Okay. Call. All right. Rename the icon to IC roundup. You can leave the size as 24 dp by 24 dp and the color is black. Click next. Okay, so we're gonna name this all made. Okay. Change the name to roundup. All right, finish. So we added that one. Now we add the other 2. Vector asset. There you go. Search for store. Storefront. Okay. And then we're gonna rename it probably store. But let's see what it says. Hold on. Okay. I see store. Okay. Take off baseline. Just name it IC store. Nice. So I added the IC roundup, IC store. And the next one. What they call the other one? Service, IC service. And Search for elements. How did they find it? What did they search for? Search for room service. Room service. Okay. And that's that. Just gonna call it this easy service. Okay. Once you're done, the resource manager will reflect the screenshot below. You'll have these three vector drawables: IC roundup, IC service, and IC store listed in your res drawable folder. Okay. Support older Android versions. You just added vector drawables in your app, but it's important to note that your support for vector drawables is on the Android platform, wasn't added until Android 5.0 API level 21. Based on how you set up the project, the minimum SDK version for the TipTime app is API 19. This means that the app can run on Android devices that are running Android platform 19 or higher. To make your app work on these older devices of Android, known as backwards compatibility, add the vector drawables elements to your app. Build.gradle file. This enables your project to use vector drawables on versions of the platform less than API 21 versus converting the PNGs when the project is built. See more about that here. So we can learn more about vector drawables and backwards compatibility here. Let's take a look real quick just to see what's on this page. Vector drawables and backwards compatibilities. They support vector drawable and animated vector drawable devices running platform version lower API 5.0, or use fill color, fill type, stroke color functionalities. Okay. Support vector drawable and animated color respectively. Same. I guess you could do, yeah, default config vector drawables and support library equals true. Okay, so they created libraries for backwards compatibility that you can use. So what's this? There's a bunch of this stuff for now. All right. With your project configured properly, you can now move into adding the icons into the layout. Insert icons and position the elements. You'll be using image views to display the icons in the app. This is how your final UI will appear. First, open Activity Main. First, position the store icon next to the cost of service. Insert a new image view as the first child of the constraint before the text input layout editor. Okay. Let's go. All right, now we have our XL. So after the constraint, before the text layout, we're going to add a new image view. Image view. I think I'm just going to set both to wrap content for now. Okay, so let's train the start to start of parent. Okay, put a source in there so we can see it. Source is going to be All storefront. Okay. Um, and then we're gonna end to start and then we're going to text input layout, and then this we're gonna we're gonna change this. Say start to end we didn't give this an ID yet. So I gotta give this an ID. You store Japan on it. Okay. And then so let's see what else it says. Okay. Set up the appropriate attributes on the image view. Advise you to set the attribute to icon cost of service. Set the screen drawable to that resource file. Also set Android important accessibility. Android important for accessibility is no. Important for accessibility. No. Let's see what else it says for the attributes. It is expected that there will be an error in the image view because it's not constrained. You'll fix that next. Position the cost of service in 2 steps. First, add constraints to the image view, and then update the constraints on the text input layout. Okay, this diagram shows you how the constraints should be set. Weird. So, top to top of cost of service, bottom to bottom of. Okay, I'm gonna try that. So, start to start a parent. Yeah, that's right. And to start on. No, that's not right. So, take this one. So then we'll do top to top of. I'm gonna do the text input layout. And bottom to bottom of text input layout. Okay, cool. Wow. That worked. You got it in the center. Still don't like that it's that close, so we're gonna have to figure out how to move that over. See what else it says. And did add margin or padding. 16 EP. Margin. Add some margin between the two views. 16 EP. So margin at the end. 16. There we go. I never know when to use margin or when to use padding. In this circumstance, padding moved it over. All right, then all this stuff has to line up with this, except for the button. So start of. Let me close this tag. All right. So we did that image. And text field. All right, that's good. Start to. Oh, that's good. Sister. Insurance start to start of. Sure. Yeah. So I should just take this line and apply it to all the startups. Okay, that's good. I'll have to do that in the radio buttons because it's already done. Switch. Okay. And did it do it to the calculate button? See, make sure this finish. Yeah, I moved it over to the calculate button too, just looking for the icon. All right. Okay. I gotta put our icons down the side. So the next icon is the bell, which is the service icon next to how is the service. Put that icon there. Okay. It's layout. All right. So this is the service question. So the next icon needs to be next to here. So put it here. Image view. I'm just gonna do wrap content for now. We'll have an ID. View. Icon. Service. And set it. I'll give it a source. Set it equal to that drawable service icon that we added. All right. Then constrain the start to start of parents. Okay. We'll combine top to top of this can be service question. Okay. And then we'll confine the bottom of service question. Okay, so that's aligned right now. And then we got to add another image view. Between the last radio button and the switch. All right, radio button. Radio switch. Another image view here. Material. Content from content. We'll give it an ID. We'll call it image underscore view. underscore icon underscore round up. Then give it a source. We're going to set it to the roll round up icon that we just imported. And then we're going to constrain the start to start of the parent. All right. Now we're going to constrain the top to the top of the switch. And then we're going to constrain bottom to bottom of the switch. All right. Okay, cool. So I think they're positioned good. You know, see the end result of the app. So call to service, bell icon. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But they're still not accepting the style. They're still black. So somehow we've got to make them green. See what we got to do that. Okay. Open the activity main XML layout, first possession. Okay, so we did this, we did all this. Let's see what it says after we've got it all positioned. Okay. If you compare this with the final app screenshot, you'll notice the calculate button also shifted over, aligned vertically with the cost of service field like that. Okay. Great job working through them step by step. It requires a lot of attention to detail to get the elements aligned correctly throughout the layout, but it makes the end result look much better. Run the app and it should appear like the screenshot below. All right, just run it real quick. Oop. Second, it's just double click. I probably forgot end tags or something. Yeah, no end tag there. No end tag. All right, it should probably work now. There you go.
He must be the first to wish you happy Halloween.
All right, so I added those and it looks good. Now let's take a look at what we got to do now. You're not done yet. You may have noticed the font size and the color of the service question and tip amount looks different than in the text and radio buttons. Let's make these consistent in the next task by using styles and themes. Styles and themes. A style is a collection of view attributes for a single type of widget. For example, a text view can specify a color, font size, and background color, to name a few. By extracting these attributes into a style, you can easily apply a style to multiple views in the layout and maintain it in a single space. In this task, you will first create styles for the text view, radio button, and switch widgets. Creating styles. Create a new file named styles.xml in the res value directory if one doesn't already exist. Okay, let me see. So project. Source. Main. Res. Values. Strings themes. So I think that's where it's supposed to be. Let me see what it said. Create a new file named styles.xml in the values directory if one does not exist. Create it by right-clicking on the values directory, selecting new values resource file, call it styles XML. Okay. New values resource file, style dot XML. No. Okay. Not style, styles, I think. Styles. Okay. So we got our styles file open. Okay. Alright. Create a new text view style so that it appears consistent throughout the app. It would define a style once in the styles XML, and then you can apply it to all the text views for layout. While you could define a style from scratch, you can extend from an existing text view style in the material design components library. When styling a component, you can generally extend it from the parent style of the widget type you are using. This is important for two reasons. First, it makes sure that all important default values are set on your component. And secondly, your style will continue to inherit any future changes to the parent style. You can name your style anything you'd like, but there is a recommended convention. If you inherit from a parent material style, then you should name your style a parallel way by substituting material components with your app's name TipTime. This moves your changes into its own namespace, which eliminates possible future conflicts when material components introduces a new style. All right. Your style name widget.tiptime.textView inherits parent style from widget material components text view. This allows your styles XML file in between resources opening and closing tags. Okay. Parent. Widget.tiptime.textView. Parents. And then which parent was it? Widget material components text view. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Set up your text view style so that it overrides the following attributes: Android min height, Android gravity, and Android text appearance. Oh, so I should have had that tag open. Okay. Android min height 48. Android gravity center vertical. Android text appearance. Text body 1. Okay. Min height.
Thank
48 D3.
It's on Facebook.
and the love something.
Android gravity center vertical. Android text appearance. Text appearance body 1. Okay. So we've got our text style. Now we're going to make another style. Okay. Apply the widget tip time text style to the service question. Text view. Style equals at style widget tip time text. Okay, let's do that real quick. Layouts, moving, service question. Okay. Well, okay. At style widget tip time text view. For adding the style to the text view, it looked like this with small font and gray color. After adding a style, now it looks like this, more consistent for the rest of the layout. Okay. Apply that same widget tip time text view to the tip result text view. So let's find the tip options. Text view, tip results. Here we go. Okay.
I can't pick to get to here for a little Duncan menu alert.
All right. So that's done.
With
All right.
where in
Good. If you specify an attribute and style, example Android text size to be 18, also specify that same attribute in the layout file. The value set in the layout will actually be applied when you see it on the screen. So the layout overrides the style. So if you set a style convention, but in the layout you change it to the different size, it'll be applied. The same text style should be applied to the text label in the switch. However, you can't set a text view style onto a switch material widget. Text view styles can only be applied on text view. Hence, create a new style for the switch. Attributes are the same: min height, gravity, and text appearance. So we're going to make another one: widget tip time compound button switch. All right, widget.tiptime.compound button.switch. So we'll go back to our styles. Widget dot tip time dot, I think it's components, or compound button. Okay. Parents. Objects. Dots. Material. Compound button dot switch. Material component dot compound button dot switch. Okay. Yes. And put the same attributes. This one. Right. And then apply the tip time compound button style to the switch. Okay, so here's our switch. Compound button switch that we just created. Okay. So now that's the same. Now do I have to do another style for the radio group? I'm guessing. Okay. You could also specify additional attributes specific to switches in this style, but in your app there's no need to. The radio button text is the last place you want to make sure that the text visually is consistent. You can't apply a text view or style view. I'll text view, style, or switch style onto a radio button widget. Thus, you must create a new radio button for style for radio buttons. You can extend the material design components library radio button style. While you are creating this style, also add some padding between the radio button text and the circular visual padding start. So new attribute you haven't used yet. Padding is the amount of space between the contents of it and the bounds of video. Padding start attributes, set padding and at the start of the component, and see the difference between 0dp and 80p of padding start on a radio button. Okay, so style, widget to time dot components, compound button dot radio button, parent, Zero components, compound, ready button. Okay. Which doesn't compound button. Making a radio button style. Style. Results. Set time. Something else. Button. Parents. Teenagers. Dots. Serial. Parents. Back. What they thought material components like compound everybody. Zero out there. So is can have an item for Android padding start GTP and an item for Android text appearance. Okay. Start. Okay. Text appearance. Okay. And then we'll apply this style to each radio button. Or can we just apply it to the group? Okay.
You want coffee?
See. Okay. Create a demands XML file to improve manageability of frequent use values. You can create a file in the same manner that you did for styles XML file above. Let me apply this first and then we'll get into that. So the one I just created was the radio button one. Yeah, it applied it to all of them. So I only have to do one. Okay. So that's that. Yeah. Alright. Optionally created demands XML file to improve manageability of frequent use values. Create the file in the same manner you did for the styles XML file above. Select the value directory. Right click new, select value resource. In a small app, you've repeated the minimum height twice. That is certainly manageable for now, but it would quickly get out of control if we had a 4, 6, 10, or more components sharing the value. Remembering to change all of them is tedious and error-prone. You can create another helpful resource file in res values called dimens.xml that holds common dimensions that you can name. By standardizing common values as the name dimens, we make it easier to manage our app. Tip time is small, so we won't be using it outside of this optional step. However, with more complex apps in a production environment where you might work with a design team, Dimens XML will easily allow you to change the values more often. Resources, you would update the styles, file to use. File to use the stock files and text type instead of 48 to feed directly. So where did I use 48? Oh, I've used Android twice 48
Character.
Alright, so I guess we'll do that. I see what they're saying that we use this in the styles XML. We use the minimum height 48 twice. So instead of calling 48, we could just call, we could create a new value, new values resource file, call it dimens XML. Okay. And then here we could use dimen, this one. Okay. And then we would just call this dimens. At dimen. Okay. Dimen mixed dimen text type. Get what it's saying though. It's not working. All right. Created a demands XML. All right. Put demand name equals minimum text length 48 degree. Okay. Hit run. Okay. You would update styles XML file to use at the men text type and set up 48.
Say, talk so all the time.
Same thing here. And then text type. Okay. It works. Cool. You may have noticed that you haven't applied a new radio button style and switch styles yet. There is also an attribute for text input style where the specified style resource will be applied to all text input fields within the app to make text input layout appear like an outline box. As shown in the material design guidelines, there's an outline box style defined in the material design components library. Widget material components dot text input layout dot outline box. This is the style you'll use. Modify the themes XML so that the theme refers to the desired color. Okay. So there are themes. Okay. I should probably add them to the night themes as well. Okay.
Got kids at home? How about an early Halloween treat?
Like these.
Cool.
Donut, or they can sink into the jack-o'-lantern donut.
Looking pretty good.
We do.
Just run it and just see what it looks like. Looks pretty awesome. The icons are still not green though.
Hey, Alex, Adam's gonna get it.
Yeah, but at first I didn't. So I'm gonna separate it. When you
Looks nice. Okay. So I think we just gotta figure out how to style the icons. I think that's good after that. Make the same changes to the mic. Yep, did that. Run the app. Okay, cool. Looks pretty nice. Yes. Let's see. As you near completion of the app, you should test your app not just to change as expected, but to other scenarios as well. You might find some small code changes that can improve the user experience in a large way. Rotating the device. Rotate your device to landscape mode. You need to enable auto rotating setting first. This is located in the device quick settings. Okay. In the emulator, you can just use these buttons to rotate it. Okay. Add scroll view around your constraint layout. Something like this. Okay. Because if we run it, and then we rotate, so auto rotate on. Rotate. So rotate it. And now we can't see the bottom. We have to add a scroll view. Okay, that's what they're saying. Okay. So let's stop it, minimize it. So we're gonna put all of this. So just minimize everything. And we'll make a scroll view. Right. And what did it say? Match parent, and then put all the declarations up there. Okay. So let's remove the declarations now. Okay. All right, so we just put everything inside the scroll view. That should work just fine. Let's see. Now let's see if after we put it in there, if it works when we rotate the screen. Okay. So let's rotate. And now it scrolls. Cool. All right, it's pretty cool. Let's see what else it got. Hide keyboard on entry. You may have noticed that after you enter a cost of service, the keyboard still stays up. It's a bit cumbersome to manually hide the keyboard each time. To better access the calculate button, instead of make the keyboard, make it automatically hide itself when the enter key is pressed. for the text field, you can define, okay. For the text field, you can define a key listener to respond to events. All right. Every possible entry option on a keyboard has a key associated with it, including the enter key. Note that the on-screen keyboard is also known as the talk keyboard. All right.
Makes you feel all pumpkiny.
In this task, set up a key listener in the text field to listen for when enter is pressed. When the event is detected, hide the keyboard. Okay. You can insert it right before the closing the listener. The handle key event is a helper. It's a private helper function that hides the on-screen keyboard if the key code input parameter is equal to key event. Key code enter. The input method manager controls it if a soft keyboard is shown hidden and allows the user to choose which soft keyboard is displayed. This method returns true if the key event was handled and return false. Now attach a key listener on the text input edit widget. And so we go to the connectivity. Make another private function. Right. Private function handle key events. And then in the on create, we want to set up the listener. I'll set on key listener. Cost of service or text set on listener. But I didn't call it cost of service. Text. Okay. So let's see if it works. All right. So 85, 88, 96. Okay. It disappears now. Good. Maybe 18% or 1, 1601. Cool. All right, that works. Test that your new changes work. Run the app and enter in a cost of service. Hit the enter key and the keyboard, and the soft keyboard should get here. Okay, cool. TalkBack enabled. Some users use TalkBack. TalkBack is a Google screen reader included on Android devices. TalkBack gives you spoken feedback so that your users can use the device without looking at the screen. With TalkBack enabled, ensure that the user can complete the use calculated. Adjust the tint of the vector withdrawables. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do this whole time. All right, this is an optional task. You will tint the icons based on the primary color of the theme. So the app icons appear differently in light versus the dark themes as seen on the screen. Cool. This change is a nice addition to the user interface to make the icon appear more cohesive in your app theme. As we mentioned before, one advantage of vector drawables versus bitmap images is the ability to scale and tint them. Below we have the XML representing the bell icon. There are two specific color attributes to take notice of: Android tint and Android fill color. Android tint. Android fill. If there is a tint present, it will override any fill color directed to the drawable. In this case, white color is overridden with the color control arm. One visual enhancement we can make the app is to tint the drawable based on the primary color. For light theme, the icon will appear as color green, whereas dark theme, the color will appear as color light green, which is the attribute color primary. To think the drawable based on the color primary of the app theme can make elements in the layout appear more unified and cohesive. It saves us from having to duplicate the set of icons for light theme and dark theme. There's only one set of vector drawables, and the tint will change based on the color primary attribute. Change the value of Android tint attribute in IC service. So we go into the drawable. Oh, drawable. Is it like this? Alright, I'm just gonna put all this stuff on its own line so I can see what the heck's going on. Is it the fill color? Tints. Tints. There we go. Color primary. Okay. Okay. Alright, cool. So let's run it. Now, the icons should be the same color as the primary color, which is the green that we set. And they are. Alright, and if we switch to battery saver, there's battery saver.
Number one, thank you for coming in. Number two, have you tried that? Please.
You no tricks, or treats.
No, they're light. Cool, that works. Awesome.
Do it.
Congratulations, you have finally completed the tip calculator app. You should be very proud of what you've built. Hopefully, this is the stepping stone for you to build even more beautiful and functional apps. Cool.
America works.
Solution code. It's pretty incredible how much goes into just formatting it. Okay. Summary. Use of material design components where possible to adhere to material design guidelines and allow for more customization. Add icons to give users visual cues about how parts of your app will function. Use the constraint layout to position the elements in your layout. Test the app for edges, cases, rotating your app, landscape mode. Make improvements where applicable. Comment your code to help other people who are reading your code understand what your approach was. Reformat your code and clean up your code to make it possible, make it as concise as possible. All right. Learn more. Okay, there you go. Practice on your own. I didn't make the unit converter yet. I've got to do that. So basically, it has you create a unit converter app that's similar to this app. And you can use the zero design components to do that too. I should make a separate app so I can get better at that using the things on my own. All right. Done. All right. So that was create a more polished user experience. So the next video will be write instrumentation tests. So I'll see you there.